Was born in 1983, joined the Belgian Air Force in 2001. He trained on the SF-260 and the Alpha Jet, and in 2005 completed his conversion to the F-16. His full and adverse weather shows that he's doing here. In his logbook, Grant has some 1,500 on the F-16. He's taken part in all the multinational operations that the Belgian those have included Operation Unified Protector, the Libyan effort, from which he flew from Greece, and the Baltic Air Police ignition, because the Baltic states, one of whose aircraft we're going to see next, can't perform their own air defences yet. Positioning for a slow speed pass this time, so a good time to get your cameras ready as he positions to the crowd left, a high alpha low speed pass. 110 knots Grat flies this at an altitude of 500 feet, and of course in the F16 he's got a raked back seat in the cockpit, which helps him, I believe, Bondi, withstand the G tolerances in the higher speed parts of the display.
Indeed, if you're sitting back, obviously the blood's going to flow easier back to the head, so it helps him withstand those high G manoeuvres that the F16 is designed to do.
And it's been hugely successful in combat, the F16, an aircraft that has an air-to-air kill ratio of 71 kills for no losses, and that's taken in Desert Storm in 91, all the Balkans conflicts through the 90s, and then Iraq and Afghanistan in recent times have seen F16 combat action at least. In the second of his 3 years as the Belgian F16 display pilot. They tend to rotate this commitment between their two bases. He is a member of 350 Squadron at Florennes. Following the slow part of the display, that high-speed pass is going to be followed by a manoeuvre he calls the 360-180. Or perhaps not, because I think he's putting the wheels down for, once again, a touch and go that won't actually be a touch and go. That's because it's classed, isn't it, as a manoeuvre that requires him to be on the display line.
Indeed, that's correct. He needs to be at the 230 metre line to do this.
And at a certain altitude as well, of course. Final flourish brings to a close Grat's display. The F16, an aircraft we've seen in many guises at the Air Tattoo over the years, and the Belgians as well as the Dutch, real stalwarts of our British display scene. A lot of organisers extremely grateful to the Belgians this year for their excellent contributions. And the aircraft we see here, and its pilot from 350 Squadron, a unit with a great heritage as part of the RAF. It was formed in the RAF in December 1941 on Spitfires at RAF Valley on Anglesey as the first Belgian manned unit within the RAF. wait for the next item. You're a man with a lot of experience of designing a display routine. What goes into it? What do you need to think about?
Well, Ben, you're displaying not only the aeroplane, but you're displaying to the crowd as well. So you need to have that in the back of your mind. What's going to look nice? You can do all fancy pilot stuff, but only you and your fellow colleagues will know whether that's any good or not. But it's the crowd that you need to display the aeroplane to. So it all starts on paper well before the season. I think before my season, I started in January time. You look to work different things in the sim. So you go to the simulator, use any synthetic training available to see what's going to work and what's not going to work. Because what you think might work, you might not actually be able to fly it, or it might not look that good to people on the ground. So you start off in the simulator, and then you probably get on to draft 54 by the time you actually decide to fly it for real. And then it's a gradual transition. You start off at height, so you're doing it 4,000 feet, nice and safe. So if anything doesn't quite work, then you've got time and energy to save. And then you gradually work it down. So 1,500 feet initially, and then we're down to 1,000, and then ending up at 500 feet, which most of the airport displays are at as it's been today. So it's a gradual process, taking over 4 months before.